You are watching Republic India, and we are here at country capital Gandhi Peace Foundation, and we are having with us a prolific personality, the President CFD, Citizens for Democracy, and they are celebrating 50 years. You have been outstanding in your tenure, the way you have delivered current scenario, the political system, and what have changed in Viksit Bharat that claimed the highest authoritarian regime across India. We have made Viksit Bharat. What the changes you have seen? You have been abroad. You have seen the entire system of the countries over the globe, what they have done for the society, for the countrymen. Here we have President CFD, Mr. S.R. Heramat. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. And as you correctly said, we are celebrating the Golden Jubilee Conference of CFD. We must remember where we began. We began in 1974 when there were clouds of authoritarianism, of particularly Mrs. Gandhi, who was then Prime Minister, in the political horizon of India. So recognizing the dangers of authoritarianism, Jayaprakash Narayan, who is popularly known as the Lok Nayak and fondly remembered as JP, he got all the jurists, the journalists, the professors, the social workers together in order to protect, preserve, deepen democracy. And that was the idea of establishing this. And as you know, very soon the declared emergency was done. I need not go into all the details of it. But the present situation, I'm speaking from 2014, when Mr. Narendra Modi became the Prime Minister, the situation in the country is most precarious. What was a declared emergency then is now the undeclared emergency. And this is 20 times more serious than the declared emergency because it was more Indira Gandhi's personality and other things. Here, the BJP is backed by an entity called Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh, RSS. And you know their whole lot of network of things is called Sangha Parivar. And they're what I call as retrograde, taking the country back, and dangerous, creating division, sowing the poison between the communities and all that is most dangerous for themselves, for the whole country, in fact for the whole world. Unfortunately, around the world, the right-wing regimes are coming to power like Trump in, America, and what you call as the neo-fascist kind of thing in Italy and many other countries. So at this stage, the entire democracy is in gravest danger. So all the people who love the principles of democracy and its practice, that is freedom, equality and fraternity, all of us living together, respecting each other, and a dignified life for the downtrodden, for the toiling people, which was the inspiration in the form of Swaraj for our freedom struggle, has now disappeared. And it is now for Adani, Ambani, and few people's benefit at enormous cost to the vast sections of the people. Please go ahead.
Sir, where you found the democracy in its absolute pure sense and the idea of India? It is crushed, it is buried under earth, or it is below sea level underwater?
You are very, very correct. We would have, I'm talking about those who fought for the country's freedom, independence, they must be turning up in their graves, as they say. They never, in the wildest dreams, would have imagined that the things will go down so bad. And this organization, which is now completing 100 years, retrograde and dangerous people would come to power and the kind of situation they have created. Look at one example, Dr. Tirthumde, a relative of Dr. Ambedkar, and Stan Swami, who devoted his entire life for the cause of the tribals, Professor Sai Baba, and many of the intellectuals who have devoted their life for this country have been put in prison under this draconian UAPA like it was MISA during the emergency, which is much worse. And the way they are treating our minorities. And if you go back to 1947, August 15, the next day papers, they all say the guarantee for the protection of minorities is equals among the, all citizens. Now today, they are just moving ahead with their retrograde idea of Hindu Rashtra and persecuting our minorities and others as if they are not the citizens of this country. And it is these people who live, who stayed behind. They did not go to Pakistan. They threw their lot with India. So we have a solemn duty and a responsibility to treat them as our brothers and sisters and live in an affectionate, in a loving atmosphere as a nation should live. And they are vitiating the whole thing. And one after the other, you know what they did to Kashmir? A state, a full-fledged state, which had signed an agreement with India at that time with its own constitution, how it is treated to a union territory, for example. And the way they manipulated the Supreme Court to give a decision which is most retrograde about Ayodhya. And you have seen many things. Now, Supreme Court of India, a five-judge constitution bench, after great deliberations of the Constituent Assembly debate, particularly what Dr. Ambedkar and Professor Saxena all said, that Election Commission of India should not be under the thumb of the executive. If it has to conduct free and fair elections, treat everybody fairly, then they must be free from the clutches of the executive. And when the Supreme Court gives a historic Constitution bench judgment, March 2nd, 2023, saying that the Chief Justice of India, Prime Minister of India and leader of the opposition should be the selection committee. And this government, headed by this Prime Minister, changes the whole thing to a new law, saying that instead of Chief Justice of India, it is a union minister.
Yes.
You know, the person who obeys without thinking the Prime Minister. So it is such a retrograde step in every sense of the word. And as you see, while they are doing this, thousands, if not lakhs of crores of things for the infrastructure and all that, for the Manrega, in order that right to life is the right to a dignified life,
yes,
they must have employment. And country has resources for providing employment. Instead of that, from 98,000 to 73,000 to 60,000 they did it, and they are even keeping arrears. So in my mind, this government is clearly against all the ethos of our constitution, the social justice, treatment of everybody, particularly the minorities, with due respect and dignity, like what we have promised when this country became independent from the British rule. I think we all have to come back together. But again, just like CAA protest and all that we saw, what were in our hands? One hand was the preamble of the Constitution, other hand was the Tiranga agenda. So to me, we have to get back together, save this country from these people, and take it to new heights, because that freedom struggle, which we are inspired by, but all over the world it is not only viewed with great respect, but got inspiration, like Dr. Martin Luther King for the civil rights movement, for treatment of blacks and whites as equals in America, and dismantling the cruel apartheid and establishing democracy in South Africa, Nelson Mandela. So it has been an inspiration. And today you see these people, and as one very well-known journalist who is now Rajya Sabha member, Sagarika Ghosh, put it,
yes,
Gandhi for the world, Godse for India.
yes.
So that characterizes the nature of this government.
Maybe this is our first and last conversation, because you are leaving tomorrow the post of President CFD. Sir, is there still existence of British India seed in India, as RSS, Royal Secret Service, they have been called, and they have been the close aid of British India, destroying the idea of India? How we can get back to idea of India? What is the way out?
Look, for example, because I came back from America because of the inspiration I got from Mahatma Gandhi, the Quit India resolution, that if this country has to really attain Swaraj, the unemployment, the untouchability, all these things have to be eliminated. And Dr. Ambedkar said on January 26, 1950, we are going to enter into a life of contradiction. While we will have equality in the political sphere, one man, one vote, one value, we have steep inequalities in social and economic terms. And if we do not do something about that, our political freedom will be in peril. And you see today literally what you said about colonial rule. In 1822, the great disparities between the rich and the poor has now resurfaced again in 2024 under this very regime. So you can see the situation the miserable life of the vast sections of these people. And those inequalities had steadily decreased during the first decades of our independence, thanks to the policies and the freedom struggle heroes who became to rule our country at that time. So I could not agree with you more. It is in a very retrograde step. But let me assure you, presidentship is one chair and one responsibility. But what is important, like our constitution makers, they did not give power to president, prime minister, and all. They give highest sovereign to us. We are the maliks, and they are the public servants. So until my last breath, I will be active in CFD. I will be with all of you, just like I devoted from US. My passport was impounded by the Indira Gandhi's government. We will definitely fight, every resource we have in every possible way. But truth, non-violence, freedom, equality, and fraternity will be our guiding principles.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice to meet
Thank
you.
Same here.